Most coaster enthusiasts have a coaster count in order to keep track of how many different roller coasters they've ridden, and in this video, I will show you what I consider a roller coaster credit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey guys, and welcome to 808 Coaster Life. If you're new to this channel and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. Keep in mind that even though this sounds like it's facts, it's all opinionated. Everyone has their own opinions on what they count as 1 credit, 2 credits, or not a credit. The things I say in this video are in my opinion, so feel free to disagree with me. But when it comes to coaster credits, there is one main rule that applies to everyone, and that is 1 coaster equals 1 credit. Multiple rides on 1 coaster don't count as multiple credits, and it doesn't matter what row you sit in. If you think it's that simple, there wouldn't be a video on it, but apparently it's not that simple. But I will try my best to go over every single possible situation where this question is asked. Now, there are some attractions that look like coasters, but they aren't. These include log flumes, shoot the chutes, and river rapids. These water rides aren't roller coasters because they run on a trough instead of rails. Even though rides like Infinity Falls and Chiapas have roller coaster-like elements, they are still not coasters. But you might ask, what about water coasters? Well, it depends. If a water coaster has actual rails and part of the ride is a roller coaster, it is a credit. But if it doesn't have rails, like the water coasters you see in water parks, those aren't coasters. Power splashes are also roller coasters too. What about dark rides? They move on a specific path, so are they coasters? For most dark rides, no. They do not coast along the track and they don't have specific rails they go on. However, there are very few dark rides that are classified as coasters. Included but not limited to are Blazing Fury at Dollywood, Black Diamond at Knoebels, and Underground at Adventureland. Although they act like normal dark rides, they also have characteristics of roller coasters too, like lift hills, rails, and even some small drops. So what about Larson's Super Loops? You know, the rides you see at carnivals and Six Flags parks, they look like coasters, but despite Six Flags advertising them as coasters, they actually are not coasters because they're fully controlled by power and not by gravity. However, Skyline Attractions is a manufacturer that makes small and compact coasters. Although they do look like glorified Super Loops, they are coasters because there are parts of the ride that are controlled by gravity. On the same topic, powered coasters, as long as they coast for part of the ride, are coasters. There are a lot of dueling coasters in the world, so one might ask, are they 2 credits? Well, it again depends. If there are 2 separate tracks, then yes, they're 2 credits, as long as you ride both sides. Looking at me because I didn't ride the second side of Matterhorn bobsleds. In my opinion, it doesn't matter whether the tracks are identical or not, but there is this thing called a Mobius loop coaster. For those of you who don't know, Mobius loop coasters are dueling coasters, but the end of one side leads into the other side and vice versa. There are Mobius loop coasters like Racer at Kennywood, where after you do one side, you arrive at the other side of the station, but you have to get off and get back in line in order to ride the other side. Those coasters are 2 credits. You should be able to get a full credit by getting in line and riding a roller coaster 1, so I don't count half credits. But there are Mobius loop coasters where you are able to ride both sides in one ride, like Twisted Colossus and West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Those are 1 credit. But the bigger question is, when can we get the West Coast Racers credit? If this seems complicated, then I'm sorry, but there's more. Clone coasters are coasters that have the same exact layout but exist in different parks and potentially have different themes, names, etc. Some good examples of clone coasters are Batman clones and 40 Free Spin clones. Although we coaster fans don't particularly like when a chain clones a ride to many parks, I'm looking at you, each clone that you've ridden is its own separate credit. Now, what if a coaster was relocated? If you are one of the rare people that got to ride Iron Wolf and Apocalypse, or Chang and Green Lantern, or X-Flight and Firehawk, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, relocated coasters are 1 credit. It's like my next point, which is rethemed coasters. If you've ridden Ninja and Blue Hawk at Six Flags over Georgia, then that is just 1 credit. The reason is that I've ridden a traveling kiddie coaster called Jungle Twist at both my local fair and the 50th State Fair. It is the same ride, but put in different locations, and I don't consider them 2 different credits just because they're at a different location. I think this is very much related to relocated coasters. Don't worry, this is the last 2. Recently, some parks requested B&M to replace the stand-up trains on their roller coasters with floorless trains. This is because not very many people are a fan of stand-up coasters. I have ridden neither a floorless coaster nor a stand-up coaster yet, but I'll predict that they have 2 totally different ride experiences. There are also rides where a park decided to switch the train so that it runs backwards. Even though it's kind of a different experience, I consider backwards coasters just 1 credit. However, if you were able to ride Mantis and Rougarou, Vortex and Patriot, and Apocalypse and Firebird, then those can be 2 credits. The same principle goes for my very last scenario. If a coaster was heavily modified, then they are new credits. A great example, RMC conversions. If you have ever ridden a roller coaster pre and post RMC, you would know the experiences are very different. An overhaul like Ghost Rider from old to new wouldn't count, but Gwazi and Iron Gwazi are 2 different credits. So if you were able to ride a wooden coaster before and after its RMC conversion, then there are 2 credits. Same thing goes for those very rare people who have ridden Steel Phantom and Phantom's Revenge. So that was a lot. If I went a little fast, you can always rewind or ask me a question down in the comments. Basically, if a ride is on rcdb.com, it's a roller coaster. If you want to know my current coaster count, it's at 20. Yes, I know that's very sad, but hopefully I'll ride more soon. So if you enjoyed this video, then please let me know by leaving a like on this video. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with what I consider a roller coaster credit. And if you're new to this channel and roller coasters are what you're into, then please consider subscribing for content all about roller coasters. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.